All right, our next report here. This is interesting. Oh my goodness. Self-described, self-proclaimed pastor. It's funny how all the news outlets that have reported on this story have called him self-proclaimed, self-described uh, pastor. They just don't believe that he's a pastor. Okay, they don't believe it, and because they don't believe it, that's what makes this thing hilarious to me. All right, let's talk about this guy, Dejarius Thurman. Dejarius Thurman Smith, Pastor Dejarius Thurman Smith, Apostle uh, Dejarius Thurman Smith, as he's known on social media. Well, he was arrested about a week or so ago, and his arrest stemmed from the fact that he likes to write bad checks. And his latest, now come to find out, we are looking in and we're trying to figure out more information on him because earlier this year or earlier last year, he also was arrested for writing bad checks. And this time, with this arrest of writing the bad checks, he is been denied bail. And here's the thing: I think that the court knows that if they come to him with a check, that it's probably not going to be any good. So skip all that stuff. Just keep him in jail. All right. So this cat was in Atlanta. This cat's in Atlanta, and he wrote bad checks to the Marriott Marquis, which is a big hotel in downtown Atlanta. Many of y'all are familiar with the area. And he wrote these bad checks for rooms that he had, purchased for several nights. And he also has been accused of writing bad checks to several car dealerships in DeKalb, Cobb County, and I think it's uh, Gwinnett County. I think that's how you say it. But it's all in Georgia, and they're all around the Atlanta area. And but here's the thing: not only did he write these bad checks to those individuals, this is where he's been utterly despicable. He also offered a fake scholarship to a student at the West Georgia University, and that student is Ajon Brooks. And at the start of the semester, you know how like you go ahead and you're going to register and they pull you to the side and say, I need you to come with me type of deal. Well, that happened to him because he owed $8,950. And that just so happens to be the exact amount that his scholarship was worth from Thurman Smith, okay, from Dejarius Thurman Smith. You can't make this up. And it's so sad that this boy has to, scrounge up monies now that he was dependent on for his tuition in school. They called him, that was one of his members. And his mother also has to deal with some things because she was going to a seminary, and come to find out that she was given a bad check too uh, to her seminaries in her seminary studies. But Brooks says something very interesting, and this is a quote from him. It's not something a godly person would do. Hmm. Shouldn't the first criteria of being a pastor be that you're a godly person? Shouldn't you have the integrity as a God-fearing man to pay what you owe and not intentionally scam people? Because when you go away with check fraud, one of the ways, and one of the ways that check fraud occurs is just not that you've written a few bounce checks. From time to time, we write bounce checks, but we typically have money in the account to bounce the check, and something happens, and not all the money is there at the time that the check goes through. From time to time, that happens to us. We understand that. But what this man is doing, he took an account that had already been closed and continued to write checks on that account. So that by the time the checks would clear, he would be free. He would think that he would be free and clear. But nowadays, that stuff doesn't happen like that. So now he has to, be in jail, await his trial for writing these bad checks.